The last section we will complete is Part 3, Affirmative Action Statement. From the Application Summary screen, select Edit in Part 3. The Affirmative Action Statement section is displayed. Fill in any required yellow fields in the Contractor Information section and the Disclaimer section first. You will notice that some information is pre-populated from your pre-qualification application. On the Contractor Information section, click the magnifying glass to find the EEO officer. The Equal Employment Opportunity Officer screen displays. Click the plus sign to select an employee as the EEO officer. You will be returned to the previous screen and the employee will be listed as the EEO officer. You will need to enter in the EEO officer's email address. If you click the magnifying glass and your EEO officer is not showing on the screen, you will have to add the employee. So if you click the magnifying glass, click New to display the employee screen. Fill out all of the required yellow fields. Make sure that the EEO officer is selected as the employee title. Click Save and Exit to return to the previous screen. Since we already have an EEO officer listed, I'm going to select Back. So you will see that we have our EEO officer listed and the email address. We are going to skip the question about any changes to Part 3 until we've had a chance to review the rest of the sections to see if we made any changes. So the next thing we need to do is read the DB statement and review the answer to the DB question. So read this statement on the screen and then answer the question, is your organization recognized as a DB? Review the DB certification section to make sure your answers have not changed. So review these 5 certifications, review your yes or no answers, and your effective dates and your expiration dates. Note you will need to attach documentation for any question that you answered yes to in the DBE certification section. We will add the documents at the end before exiting Part 3. In the disclaimer section, read the disclaimer statements and answer the question by clicking the down arrow and selecting yes. In the last sentence in the disclaimer section, you will need to attach your company's updated EO plan before exiting Part 3, only if your EO plan has changed since your pre-qualification application. You can click the resource link if you need more information on how to enter the EO plans. So the EO plan guideline instructions, if you click that, the PDF will open that you can save or print for your records, and it does give you more information on how to fill out this section. The next thing we need to do is review the following sections for changes: the question section, the compliance review agency section, the union section, and the apprenticeship question at the end. For the question section, review the 4 questions to see if any of your answers have changed. If your answers have changed, you will need to upload documentation for any of those answers that you answered yes to. We will add the documents before we exit Part 3. For the compliance section, if there has been a new complaint, you will need to add the information to this section. So if you have a new complaint, you would slide over to Add. Before we do this, we do want to select Save to make sure all of our information is saved. So I'm going to click Cancel, and then I'll click Save. The information was saved successfully, so we will slide back down to the Compliance Review Agency section. If we had a new complaint, you can click Add. You can enter your date of complaint, the state, or the federal agency. Once that information has been entered, you can go to document type because you would have to upload your document determination letter. To do that, type in the attachment title, type in the description, click Choose to find your file on the screen. Your file will be listed here, and then you would click Save to save the new information. So we're going to click back. For the union section, if you need to add another union, you can select Add. You would type in the new union name, and then there are 3 documents that would be needed to be added to this section: the union bargaining agreement cover letter, the non-discrimination clause, and the table of contents. So you would do just what you've done in the past. You would type in a title and a description, choose the file to find your file, then save your file, and you'll see your file will show up on the screen, and then you can hit Save. And then you can go into the next one, your non-discrimination clause, do the same thing, and then one more time go through and select the table of contents and save that. Once everything is entered, you can click Save, and it'll take you back to the previous screen. We have one more question to answer, and it is, does your organization have apprenticeship and/or on-the-job training programs? You answered yes previously. If anything has changed, you can add more information in the box on the side. After all the sections have been reviewed, we can scroll back up to the top of the screen and answer our question. Are there any changes to the Part 3 application from the previously provided information in the pre-qualification application? If you made changes, you would have to select yes. If there were no changes on the screen, you can select no. So we have entered everything that we could on the screen. We've checked everything. So we're going to save our information. The information was saved successfully. The last thing we need to do is click Validate to see what documentation we need to upload. We need to upload the Small Business Administration certification since we answered yes to the Small Business Administration in the DB section. So we will slide down to the Attachment section, go over to Document Type, select the down arrow, select Small Business Administration. Under the attachment title, enter in the title and a description. Then click Choose File. Find your file in your documents, click Open. Your file is showing on the screen, and then you need to save it. The information was saved successfully. If you go to your attachment section at the bottom, under Available Attachments, you'll see your SBA cert has been saved. The last thing we want to do is click Validate one more time just to make sure we've not missed any information. We received the message of validation completed successfully. You have completed all the information needed for the Renewal Pre-Qualification application. You can click Log Out in the top right of your screen and you will be returned to the ECMS homepage.